The sun is a merciless hammer. It beats the red earth into a cracked mosaic, and the air shimmers with a heat that steals the breath. In this prehistoric world, all life bows to the tyranny of thirst. Here, at the edge of the last shrinking water hole, lay festering pool of brown. Life minus giving mutant impossible peace holds. A family of ancient humans kneels at the water's edge. The man, kill, keeps his body low, a shield between the world and his mate, Gilara, and their young daughter, Lyra. He does not drink, his eyes, narrowed against the glare, are fixed on the opposite bank. Elara scoops the silty water in her cupped hands, first for Lyra, then for herself. Each swallow is a desperate, noisy act in the profound silence. This fragile moment is a footnote in the long, brutal saga of hominid history, an era defined not by progress, but by the sheer, stubborn refusal to die. Across the water, the architect of this truce lifts its massive head, strings of muddy saliva dangling from its serrated teeth. The Tyrannosaurus Rex. It is not the titan of myth. The drought has withered it, carving hollows beneath its eyes and stretching the scaly hide taut over its ribs. They can see the rhythmic contraction of its belly plates, the gasped rollia, as its powerful muscles work to draw breath in the oppressive heat. Its hunger is a palpable force, a low hum that vibrates through the ground, yet it is held in check by the greater, more immediate need for water. Its yellow eye, an unblinking orb of cold reptilian appraisal, sweeps across the gathered creatures a few skeletal gallimimus. Alone, mud-minus gaped and K while Losaurus settles, for a terrifying moment, and the small, fur-minus clad figures. Kayla's hand tightens on the sharpened femur he carries. It is a pathetic weapon against such a creature, a tool for butchering carcasses, not for felling gods. Its only purpose now is to provide a final, defiant gesture. This is the ritual of the watering hole. The law is simple, the water is for all, and the hunt can wait, but laws forged in desperation are brittle. Dalara nudges Kale, her gaze flicking towards a narrow fissure in the rocks a dozen paces behind them. It is their only path of retreat, a gamble they have measured 100 times. They chose this spot not for the quality of the water, but for this slim chance of escape. Their survival depends not on strength, but on such calculations on understanding the terrain, the wind, and the psychology of the monsters with whom they share this dying world. The family's unparalleled survival skills are their only true weapon against the legion of dinosaurs. For in this parched world, to drink from the same mud as your nightmares is to carve your right to exist into the bedrock of fear itself. Lyra, finished drinking, shifts her small weight, and a loose pebble skitter rests down the bank, splashing into the water. The sound is a thunderclap in the stillness. The Tyrannosaurus Rex does not move, but its head tilts, a subtle, almost curious gesture. The silence that follows is heavier, more menacing than before. The truce holds, but it has been tested. The moment stretches, thin and brittle. The T-Rex's gaze lingers on the family, then dismisses them, its thirst once more asserting dominance. It lowers its head for another long, slow draft. Kale feels Elara's hand on his back. A silent signal, it is time to go. They begin to ease backward, inch by agonizing inch, away from the water's edge. Their movements are a study in slow, deliberate grace, the practiced retreat of a species that has learned that survival is often found in being utterly unremarkable. This is the hard-1 wisdom of our human ancestors, a deep, instinctual knowledge passed down through generations of being the hunted. But the world has other plans, a new sound intrudes, a rasping, heavy breath that scrapes against the silence. From the east, a creature stumbles out of the heat haze. It is a Triceratops, ancient and scarred. One of its magnificent horns snapped short. Its frill is cracked, and a deep, festering wound on its flank weeps a dark fluid. It moves with the ponderous, final energy of the dying. The creature is driven by the same primal command that governs them all. It stumbles toward the water, its great head low, ignoring the Tyrannosaurus with the apathy of an animal that knows its end is near. It reaches the muddy bank, plunging its massive Kerato-no-US beak into the water and drinking with shuddering gasps. For a few seconds, the fragile truce expands to include the newcomer. Then, with a final, rattling sigh, the Triceratops' legs fall. It collapses onto its side with the ground minus shaking thud. Its one good horn digging a deep furrow in the mud. The silence that follows is absolute. The truce is not just tested, it is shattered. The scent of blood, hot and rich, cuts through the dusty air. The Tyrannosaurus Rex lifts its head from the water. A low, guttural growl rumbling deep in its chest. Its yellow eyes no longer languid. It is alight with a terrifying, predatory fire. The instinct for thirst is extinguished, replaced by the more powerful, more ancient drive to kill and feed. The world changes in a heartbeat. The waterhole is no longer a sanctuary. It is a killing ground. Kale doesn't hesitate. He grabs Lyra, shoving her into Alara's arms. Go. The word is a guttural hiss, barely a sound. He turns, brandishing his sharpened femur, a piece of primitive, osteodontocratic technology that feels laughably inadequate. He is not trying to fight the Titan. He is trying to buy seconds. His stand is a desperate act of altruism, a choice made in the crucible of primal fear. The T-Rex takes a step, its immense foot sinking deep into the mud. The ground trembles. It ignores Cal completely, its entire being focused on the dying bulk of the Triceratops. It sees an easy meal, a gift from the cruel sun. The family's chance for a quiet retreat is gone, erased by the brutal opportunism of the apex predator. Inara, dragging a terrified Lyra, scrambles for the fissure in the rocks. Kale watches them go, his back to the looming predator, his heart a frantic drum against his ribs. He is a distraction, a target, a prey offered up to the god of chance. The shadow of the T-Rex falls over him, a cold eclipse under the burning sun. The Tyrannosaurus ignores Kale. The scent of blood has overloaded its senses, erasing everything but the promise of meat. It lowers its massive head and tears a strip of flesh from the Triceratops' flank. The sound of ripping sinew and cracking bone is a wet, sickening percussion that echoes across the parched land. Kale does not run toward the fissure where Lyra and Lara have fled. He retreats sideways, melting into the shimmering heat. His movements precise and silent. He is no longer a distraction. He is the architect of a desperate gamble. His mind, the most potent weapon in the arsenal of early humans, is racing, connecting observations made over weeks of watching this desolate landscape. He recalls a drag galley, a narrow scar in the earth not far from here, where the wind whispers in strange voices and a dropped stone sounds like a rockfall. He finds it within moments, a winding channel of sun-baked rock, as the Tyrannosaurus feasts, its back now partially turned. Kale scrambles down the slope. He finds what he is for two large, fat stones, resonant and heavy. He lifts one in each hand. This is a moment that defines the ascent of his kind, a pivotal point in human evolution. He is not merely using a tool. He is weaponizing the world itself. He slams the stones together. The clack is shockingly loud, an alien sound in a world of roars, screeches, and growls. It echoes up the gully, amplified and distorted by the rock walls, emerging as a series of sharp, percussive reports from a direction shielded from the T-Rex's view. The feeding predator freezes, its bloody snout lifting from the carcass. Its head swivels, the small, intelligent eyes trying to place the sound. It is a noise it cannot identify, and the unknown is a threat. Kale waits, his heart hammering. The Tyrannosaurus gives a low, questioning growl. It is torn between the certain meal before it and the potential challenge hidden in the gully. Kale strikes the stones again. CLACK-CLACK, sharper this time, more insistent, a challenge. This is the core of his gamble that the tyrant's territorial rage will overwhelm its hunger. During this late Cretaceous period, Such apex predators ruled through intimidation. An unknown, audacious sound within its domain cannot be ignored. The T-minus Rex lets out a frustrated roar that shakes the very air, a sound born of pure primal fear for all lesser creatures. It takes a reluctant, ponderous step away from its meal, its massive head swinging toward the mouth of the gully. It is working. Kale can hear Lara's fate, the encouraging cry from far down the fissure. They are getting away. He gives the stones one last, deafening strike and then scrambles up the far side of the gully, using the terrain to mask his escape as the great beast begins its slow, curious, and angry advance toward the source of the phantom noise. He does not look back. He runs, his lungs burning, towards the only future that matters, the sound of his family's call. They do not stop moving until the sun bleeds into the horizon, painting the dead land in hues of blood and fire. They huddle together in a shallow cave, sharing the last of their dried meat, the memory of the tyrant's roar still vibrating in their bones. What happened today at the waterhole was not a battle. It was a recalibration of the natural order. It was a quiet declaration that muscle and teeth were no longer the only metrics of power on this ancient earth. Kayla's act was a profound leap, the deliberate manipulation of sound, terrain, and a predator's own instinct. This was the birth of strategy, a flicker of intellect that would, over millions of years, grow into a flame capable of remaking the world. In the grand, indifferent theater of prehistory, this small family's desperate escape was a footnote, but in the story of us, it was the first sentence of a new chapter. It asks a question that echoes down to our own time when faced with impossible power. Does survival lie in confrontation, or in the terrifying, audacious courage to outminus think the monster at the door? This has been an alternate prehistory survival chronicle. We do not tell tales of heroes, we bear witness to the survivors. And on a distant, fog-shrouded coastline, the cries of strange, winged beasts are not the only thing carried on the wind.